We met in Chicago in 1988. I was a young director, and a friend brought me there to do a play, and I cast him. He was a rising star.
She made me audition. I had to audition for her.
Yes. So we had met doing that play and stayed friends.
And the shoes I'm wearing now were like what I was wearing then. Remember?
Are they?
That character, that
Really?
crazy troll character.
It was a.
I played a troll under the stairs.
A writer.
That's what she cast me as.
As a writer.
Sure. As a writer, yeah. A writer.
Then the booms lined up with the onstage edge of that, or the edge of the lights, just keeping. 2003, U.S. invades Iraq. Shock and awe. I just thought that in the U.S. we needed to acknowledge the fact that we were a country at war. We were in fact invading another country.
Second war, Afghanistan, and yeah.
Yes, I mean, but there was a sort of a sense even beyond like the first Iraq war for us that I had, that we were now truly at war in a way that we hadn't been since maybe the Vietnam War.
You know, dirty world traveler.
I had always loved the Iliad. I'd read it in college. A friend of mine who teaches had told me that she often begins with the Iliad as the first play, and I thought, well, that's weird. I studied it as dramatic, as a poem or a piece of literature, but not as a play. And I started reading the Iliad again, and I just was struck by how powerful it was. And I had an idea, because I'm a director. I worked with new writers a lot, but I wanted to work with an actor who was such a political person that they could speak directly from their mouths and from their minds, and that we could avoid having a writer, actually.
The face that launched 1,000 ships. Yes, Helen. She stops. My dear brother. Oh, dear to me. Bitch that I am.
I love any kind of weird project, and I thought, this is a weird project. Great, let's do it.
And then many years went by. I mean,
yeah,
that was probably 2005. Over the next 3 years, we would meet occasionally. Yeah. We would read it out loud in parts. Then we discovered that if we filmed ourselves talking about the Iliad, we could come up with material. So often it would be that I would act like the journalist, and I would interview Dennis. And we'd read a chapter of the Iliad, then we'd put it down, and I'd say, okay, can you tell me in your own words, what did that shield look like?
Right.
And then he would begin to improvise.
You could ram him with your car. You don't care about the results. Just ram. And you can see the twisted metal, and you can see the smoking thing, and you can see the airbag, and you hope the airbag smothers him. And if it doesn't, you'll get out and you'll go, you fucking idiot! Why did you fucking cut me off? Ah! Glint of a spear, torn his opponent's chest, stabbed. The right jawbone ramming, the spearhead square between his teeth. So hard, hoisted, dragged the chosen. Fury gaping, mouth agape, flipped him down, face first, then as he fell, ah!
We're thinking about what is the experience of an audience of Homers, or if there was a Homer, when they were performing this in 500 BCE. What was the experience when they heard, for instance, the list of ships, which is a very famous section. It's pages and pages long, which starts out with, first came the Boeotian units led by Laetus and Peneleus, Arcesilaus and Protoenor and Clonie shared command of the armed Menhadron, Hyrieia, Rocky Aulus, Thespia and Graea, the dancing rings of Mycalessus. I thought, well, these are places they would all know. Everyone in the audience would go, oh, I'm from Mycalessus. Oh, I'm from the dancing ring. Oh yeah, Thespia, woohoo. So the audience was not academic. They were engaged in a visceral way, but we hear it today and we don't have any engagement with it. I don't know where these places are. So we rewrote that section to be American states. And here in Egypt, we've actually rewritten that to be Egyptian towns. And so we're trying to do a little bit of direct talking to the audience.
You can imagine, yeah, oh, you can imagine. You know, there are stories from Anna. From Idfu, from Kenya, Malawi, Somalut, from Helwan, from Giza, from Cairo, Hula.
Well, over time, Dennis has found a way to get the audience to talk back to him in certain moments, more and more. And that was always part of our intention, but now it's become more fun, I think, for you. I think it gives you a nice challenge each night.
People are interested in reading the Iliad again and find that they understand it in a way they didn't before. They're excited because they now feel like they can teach their kids, this is a great thing you should learn. Other people get the fact that it's not an anti-war book by any means. Homer is showing the glory of war and the horror of war.
We're trying to spend time and ask the audience to think about rage. And that's the first word of the Iliad in ancient Greek. And so we're just asking, what is it that makes us want to fight each other? And what is the feeling of being in the middle of a battle?
And what does it lead to?
Yeah, and is rage something that we can control or not? That's the big question, I think, I think that's the big question of the Iliad, but also of an Iliad. So,
and oddly enough, Achilles shows both things, that he can't control it and that he can control it, which is really odd.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.